Hello and welcome back to Starfish Point. My name's Nebman and I'm the founder of Nebman Industries, and I'm building on this beautiful map with an unlimited budget to create a city that I want to create. In the last episode we built this park just below us, just off the highway junction, kind of serving as a buffer between the sunken highway and this kind of luxury housing neighbourhood. I think the neighbourhood's coming together quite nicely. It looks pretty good, pretty symmetrical as such, but like I usually do, I posted a screenshot on Reddit of my build, and I asked what Reddit wanted me to build next in this slot next to the park on the other side of the highway. So, oh, a little bit of lag. So just to the right here, you'll see this empty open space kind of on the opposite side. And I asked Reddit, what do you think I should be building here? And a lot of the votes, there were lots of different votes. Some people said apartment complexes, other people said various other things, continue the park. But I think the most common comment was have some sort of commercial hub, some sort of not industrial, kind of like a service station, transport sort of area like that. Yeah, so what we're thinking is for this section around here, we'll have some sort of like, because it's near the highway, some service stations, so maybe a couple of drive-throughs, petrol stations, etc. But also have some buses, transport hubs as well. We can obviously utilise all of this room, we don't have to stick in the square in this sort of section, so that we've kind of got everything here at once and we've got quick access to the highway. And then obviously we've got all of this space down here as well. So start off with that there. And then I wanted to, well, as you can see, we've got lots of nurses and stuff that are required. I was thinking of just popping off like a hospital, crematorium, and a few other buildings in this section, and then maybe filling in this gap as well. But we'll see how far we get in this episode. If we don't complete it all, then we will just continue it in the next one. But yes, let's figure out what we want to do with here. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm just going to create more space by getting rid of that footpath, and we'll reconnect it up. And we've got this this is the one-stop station. It's a signature building, but it kind of gives off vibes of a petrol station, little services sort of area. So it could come in handy. I'm not a fan of the colour, I'm not going to lie, so we might just see if there are any nicer looking colours that kind of fit in a bit more. Because at the moment that colour is just a bit grim, but we'll kind of get around to that at a later sort of date, even if it's just a bit brighter or darker, duller like that. I don't want it to stand out too much, and we want this as part of our kind of service station, but we're not quite decided on how we want to run it through just yet. But let's say in theory we did have it here. My kind of theory would be if we brought a road out from there so that we have some sort of connection and try and link it up the back here. Problem is it's not completely straight, so what we'll do is we'll get rid of it and we'll start planning out a somewhat decent area for this to go in. I'm just starting out with a few experimental roads just to see what we can kind of get lined up in here. It's not the easiest task, I'm not going to lie, because we're kind of just guessing about the dimensions and sizes of the buildings that we're actually going to need, but nevertheless we will just give it a go and see what we can kind of come up with. Obviously we want to keep the footpaths in. We want to try and keep it to somewhat of a nicer sort of layout. So we'll just kind of do our own thing, see how it ends up, and then if it looks alright we'll keep it. If it doesn't look alright then we will quite certainly get rid of it. But if we just draw those down to there with this footpath like so, see if we can just get a small connection alongside here. It says it's 90 degrees, but it just doesn't look it, does it? And we'll just draw that up to about here and see if we can create a connection there. That'll double up on some sort of footpaths. This just looks a little bit weird, partially because it's joined up strangely. But we continue with kind of what we're trying to do and then go from there. So those of you that have watched the channel before might have some sort of idea of what's going on here, but I'm just placing down some nice footpaths, as you can see, just kind of in a flowing sort of section here. I'm going to just draw this out ever so slightly, not too much further, just so that it's there when we need it, and then we're just going to box off here for the time being, because we're just going to stop there and we do small bits at a time to make it make sense. So we're going to get rid of that because we don't need those. That footpath is going to go across there, which is good. Cool, no problem at all. Now, you've probably guessed it, but if you haven't, then whatever. You are now going to find out probably what's going on. So we want essentially all of these in the middle to be keys. I wonder why. Because we want this to be the poshest service station in the world, with a nice water feature that essentially goes all the way within. So within these keys that I'm building is going to be water, which I'm sure a lot of you probably guessed initially, but oh, don't want it on that side. Stop it! I don't want you on that side. What are you doing? Like that. That goes in the middle. These are obviously all going to switch around, but yeah, we just want to key all of this out. Just like that. I think there was one bit that we were missing, potentially here. Go. I think that's probably near enough, most of it. We just need to pop a key on that road here. Just, ooh. Ooh, we just want it on that section there, which is going to be annoying. Can we just put a straight road here and a road here, and will that allow us just to upgrade? I think it blocks off the footpath. How bizarre. Maybe we'll just have to drop a pathway just like this, and then we'll have to just close that off with our own key here, like that, and that should work perfectly fine, and then we can just have the water flowing to there rather than elsewhere. Good. Right, next thing we need to do, we want to lower this terrain where the water is going to go to probably about the same height as here. We want to make this a lot smaller, only about 10, but we want it on 100 strength. And we're going to try and flatten the terrain that's within our footpath keys here. So once we've got our beautiful little stream down, or canal, whatever you want to call it, we should be able to start placing some buildings, establishing some roads that go over these, and go from there. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, I think, trying to figure out all of these roads, etc. But I'll flatten out all of this terrain within, and then we'll take it as it comes. Okay, so we've lowered most of the terrain around here. There are still a couple of bits on the corners that are not quite perfect, but we will analyze them at a later date, like these sections here. We just want to draw them down a bit so there's not bumpy kind of surfaces, like so. But as a whole, it looks like we're pretty self-made keyed up, really. So let's just try and fill it with water and see what happens. What I might do is save the game before I fill it with water, in case I just flood everywhere. I'm going to go with the lake, because this kind of seemed to work pretty well on the previous times. So I'm going to pop a couple of these in at key kind of points, hoping that it fills up relatively nicely. like so. And then we want one somewhat down at the end over here. And we want to just allow that to fill up. We'll increase L simulation speedo and just kind of see what happens. Hopefully it should fill up. If it doesn't, then whatever, we'll just cry ourselves to sleep tonight. But we'll certainly wait a moment and then I'll let you know whether it's successful. For some bizarre reason, it's starting to drip down alongside these edges here. I don't know whether it's just a texture glitch, because this is nowhere near overflowing, as you can see. So, just going to have to try and figure out why it's doing that and see if we can fix it. Right, it looks like we now have water that's not overflowing too much. Not really sure what was going on with it to begin with, to be honest with you, but it seems like we are somewhat okay now. Oh, but then if you look here, if for some reason it's textures... Oh, what's going on there? Oh my goodness. I just had to say it, didn't I? I literally said, it looks like we've got water that's not overflowing too much. Proceeds to make this the River Thames that stretches across the whole of England. Oh no. Let's try again. Once again we have water. As you can see, the water level is quite low. It's not overflowing. To confirm, it is definitely not overflowing, but for some reason the textures are showing here. So I think this is just the fact that the game is not all that good. I don't know what to do about that. It's not really much I can do. It's not that obvious, so I think we're just going to have to kind of bite the bullet, unless we can potentially see if we can block that out with some highway barriers or something. Let's not do that. That's so bad. What have we done? Oh no. I've ruined everything. Try this. What is going on with this game? Why is this happening? There's literally a key, land, trees, path again, concrete, and then road. I just can't figure out why that's doing what it's doing. It's really annoying. Really annoying. And if we look at the terrain, you'll see that there is land here. There's no like gaps. It's all fully blocked off. I really don't know why it's doing that. We don't want to swim in here. We do not want to swim. No. Alright, let's try again for the 300th time. Right, attempt number 468. So, we have now moved this canal so far away from this road that there is no way that it's going to leak. Alright? There's no way. And if it does, my PC is going to meet the outside world through my 2-story window. Let's have a look then. Let's go back to the water. And let's start filling in this nice and slowly. Hopefully this should work. I can't see any reasons why it won't. Let's just start off with that amount for now. Just going to stare at this and make sure that it's not leaking. Come on, please, just work. I want you to work. I will wait for it to fill up and then we'll see how we've gone. Right, it looks like we have water with no spillages. It's not leaking onto the highway, which is good. And it is relatively full up, which is also good. So we're happy with that. Although it was a bit of a pain, we are still here and we're working. We'll make it work, so no problem at all. Good. Right, next up we need to start figuring out some roads and building placements before we start filling in pathways and sections like that. So let's work on that first. So I'm just working on trying to get some rough building placements down and then running through roads over to kind of where we need them to go to. I'm just going to get kind of a rough idea, and then we'll start adjusting things slightly to making it look better, because at the moment it doesn't look very good, I will admit that. But once we start decorating and stuff, hopefully it should begin to look a little bit better. If we run that road alongside there, we're just trying to somewhat get a rough idea, because once we know, we can start decorating it. So we've put kind of like a small bus station with bus lanes just coming onto the edge here. The big petrol station and stuff with a taxi stand here. I'm not sure if I like the taxi stand. I might change that to somewhere else. That's a taxi depot, not a stand, by the way. Silly me. It might even be worth if we just moved that out ever so slightly. Probably looks better, and then we can kind of fill that off, cluster that off a little bit. Yeah, so we're kind of just getting a rough idea. We're trying to piece some buildings together so we know what we're kind of aiming for. Once we've done that, we'll start decorating it, and it will, I assure you, it will look nice at the end. We're just picking off a few buildings from these various stuff that I've placed earlier of potential things that we might use. Just kind of getting a bit of an idea of what would be well suited for us. But it's quite difficult, you know. It's quite difficult to pick and choose what goes where, which is a bit frustrating at times, but we will certainly do what we can to make it work. Okay, building layout wise, I think this will do. So we've got our big one-stop station, which has got basically like our services with petrol station, car wash, stuff to eat in there. We've got a drive-through kind of Costa sort of thing, and a taxi depot up here. Again, we've got another kind of food station, food store, which goes in here. This random building is just, yeah, whatever. That just looks cool. A car park, kind of covered car park for EV charging here, and then another standard car park here. Across this little bridge, we've just got a little park that goes back out onto the main road, and then obviously the bus station here with a couple of upgrades. So we've got that. I want to adjust the colour of this bad boy just to something a little bit more boring. I don't want it to stand out crazy amounts. I might just have this colour dimmed down ever so slightly. It's not as bright. About there will do. Then it's not just beaming out. And now what we want to do is make this area actually look nice, because it doesn't at the moment. Admittedly, it doesn't look that good, which is fair enough. Nothing is ever going to be perfect immediately, so let's start thinking about what we're going to do, because we need it to look nice. Let's just start over here. Nice, simple starting area. We'll just start by drawing out all of these paths to the appropriate places and make this feel a bit more pathy or parky. This will be kind of when you've had your long drives and you want to stop off the highway, you can just come and chill in the park surrounded by the water, kind of away from all of the troubles. So we're just going to connect these up to the various places here, just like that. Nothing too crazy, but it certainly connects up a little bit nicer. We want essentially all of this to be kind of green grass, nice green grass, so we're just going to run around the outside and make it nice and green, like so, all the way to here and background, and that's now a little bit nicer and greener. I wonder if we can fit something here. Might have a quick look and see if we can fit something in here. So I've popped in this little zigzag park bench fountain weird area to walk through. Drag the surfaces out ever so slightly. All we're going to do with this bit is simply just add some trees and decorate it to make it look a little bit nicer. Nothing too mental over here. We just want it to be a nice little standard park sort of area. Don't have to go crazy, but as you know, as soon as you add a few trees, it makes it look 10 times better than it did before. So we'll decorate this out and then start working elsewhere. And there we have it. That's already 100 times better than it was before. Good. Now let's start working on this section here. That will be perfect. So we'll start. Oh yes, okay. We'll start down here. Start working here, and then we'll go from there. I wonder if we can actually connect a little park or something onto the end of here. I'm just trying to think what would actually go there that would look alright. They have loads of options, to be honest with you. I mean, we've got various small parks, but none of them are really that riveting, are they? And they're all, the majority of them are quite big as well. I mean, to be fair, even if we just pop that on the end, at least that gives it a little bit more courage or whatever. It looks a little bit nicer. I'm going to start filling in this area and then go from there. Okay, this is greenified. A couple trees in these two slots here, like that. One on the end there, and just fill in a couple of these gaps. We want to draw a couple of pathway connections just across this section, just here at various different points, just so that there's ease of access for whether people want to walk. So put those across there, and we'll bring those out as well. If we can hook them onto the end, which we can. There we go. Might as well. It allows us to. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just put it to there. Good. Good. And then we want to add. We'll have one pathway going across the back of El Taxi Depot, which connects into here, and then connects around the back of him, hopefully at a 90-degree angle. Thank you. We might have this connection just across here, just so that people can cross the bridge. Perfect. Do we want to do the same here, have a small bridge crossing? We do, but we kind of want it to be straight. I don't think we're going to be able to get it straight. That's probably as good as we're going to be able to get it, to be honest with you. No problem at all. We want some further pathways just running alongside the bus stop, non-elevated of course, and we might have this essentially go all the way across to here, just to give them a few more better walking routes, because walking is important, keeps you fit. And then we want to do the same just to there though. We can't really link that all the way through, can we? Because of our... Oh no, we can. We certainly can, because that's not a park, is it? That's a just a basic little thing that we've done. But that looks skew-if, doesn't it? That's very skew-if. Why are you so skew-if, skew-if? Don't know why it's doing that. We'll just try and drag it across once more. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We just want it to look a little bit more normal. No, it's not playing ball. Does it work there? I mean, it connects there. I think it's probably because we've got too many pathways. What about if we drag that back and then link that across? Perfecto al mundo. No idea what that means, by the way. Could be any sort of language and any sort of word. A couple trees to replace that back up there. And then we've got some pathway connections along here. Excellent, we love to see it. And then we'll drag a few more paths just round the back of the bus station. I didn't realise it was going to create more space. I think that's really what we want. How bizarre. What if we... I mean, we can curve it, but it's pretty much pointless, isn't it? Like this. Not sure about that. Not sure. Right, it is tree time. Hopefully we can start filling in lots of these empty spaces with our trees now. Because without them, it looks a bit dull and empty, to say the least. So we're just going to try and fill in as much of the space as we can, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Because to be honest, the trees make such a huge difference, in my opinion. They just look so much, just makes it feel more kind of alive. I think trees are like the #1 most important thing for trying to detail, in my opinion. I think they do make an absolute huge difference. So we're going to fill in as many of these gaps as we can to make it just look a little bit more well kept and presentable. And once I've put the trees down, I will show you the hopefully finished result. Well, this is the final result of our kind of services slash general stopping shopping place area. It's mainly designed for people to come off the highway, stop in, get their petrol or diesel or gas or whatever you want to call it, and stop over, grab a bit of food before continuing on their journey at the highway. Obviously it's functional for the residents as well that live across the road. They can fill up, grab a quick snack or a takeaway coffee. I think it looks really nice. I like the way that we've done it. The water certainly adds a lot of different effects to it. We've now got a taxi depot and a bus station, so we will start setting up some sort of buses and taxi routes, etc. in the near future. But I think that looks pretty cool. As I was doing it, I wasn't feeling it. I really wasn't feeling it. But now that we've decorated it and we've got kind of the end sort of result, I think it looks a lot better. Obviously, we've still got the space off to the right. As you can see, it's a bit empty. We've just dumped a few trees there. But we will work on that space probably in the next episode. Maybe some medium density flats, a little bit of commercial mixed into there. Something like that. We also need a hospital and crematorium. We need to do that ASAP. But yeah, in my opinion, I think that looks pretty good actually. That's come along a little bit better than I thought it would. If you like the video, then please drop a like. Make sure to subscribe for any more future videos. I'd really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Goodbye.